Good morning, Congressman Yeng.
Good morning.
Congratulations for winning a seat in the Congress.
Thank you very
We
much.
actually had an interview last summer for our NSTP. You were still running for Congress, but now you already won.
Thank
so
you.
Congratulations. So first, tell us your story. How did you get into politics?
Wow. My father used to be the governor of Pampanga. So, from a very young age, I was exposed to uh, politics. I was exposed to people who were my father's friends who were politicians. But that time I never expected, I never even dreamed of becoming a politician. Although I was exposed to politics, it was not something that I planned. I was more into sports. I was more into basketball. I was actively playing in the UAAP and the NCAA in my high school and college days. And after that, I got a regular job. My first job was with the Department of Agriculture. But my involvement in politics was when my father died. When my father died, that was in 1997. A lot of his friends in politics, a lot of the people who were involved with him in politics asked me to just think of the possibility of myself entering politics just so somebody could continue the work of my father. But I was not interested then. That was 1997. There was an election in 1998, the year after my father died. So for 1 year, it was not really there was really no intention. It was only a few weeks before elections in 1998, or before the filing for the certificate of candidacy. But after talking to my family, after talking to very close friends, they say, why don't you try it? Just try it. If you don't succeed, then it's okay. At least nobody can say that you did not try to step into the shoes of your father and try to continue his work and his legacy. I tried running as vice governor in 1998. I lost. No, that was the first time. No, but there's a certain pride that is ingrained probably in every individual. That you can do more than the next guy, in helping people, especially in politics. So after that, I tried again in 2001, this time as board member. So I won as board member, and then in 2004 I ran for vice governor and I won again. And I finished my 3 terms as vice governor, and then in 2013 I ran for Congress. So it's really not something that I planned, but because my family was already involved in politics, it came naturally.
But before your father died, did he try to convince you to join politics?
When my father was alive, none of us in the family, his children, my siblings, my father's brothers and sisters, nobody was allowed to get themselves involved in politics. My father always said that I should be the only person who is supposed to be the politician. But of course, when my father died, nobody was really limited to what he was supposed to practice for the family. So that was only the time when my father died that an uncle became a mayor, and myself, I became a vice governor, and then before that a board member. So if my father were alive, he would not allow us, or he would not encourage us to be politics.
Why do you think that your father didn't like the concept of having another family member in the politics? Is he avoiding dynasties?
Well, I'm not really sure, no, but my sense then was that uh, politics was really a hard uh, uh, profession, or it was a difficult situation to be in. You always had enemies. That was what he was saying. Whether you do good, you're doing good, you have enemies, and when you do bad, you have more enemies. So sabi niya, it's a no-win situation, and there's always a lot of pressures, there's always a lot of stress, and he just wanted us to study well and do well in our own fields, whether it's business, whether it's sports, whether it's I studied engineering, so if I chose engineering, then he just wanted us to do well in whatever field we chose. So my sense then was that he himself was really stressed out, or was undergoing some pressures being a politician, and he did not want us kids, his kids, to be going through the same things. It's problematic. It's 24-hour job, which means that anytime during the night, if there's an emergency, you should always be ready to help out. And I guess that was the main reason, not because of dynasties or anything else. So he just wanted for us, his kids, to have a nice, simple career, less complicated lives.
But aside from being a congressman, you are also a professional basketball coach today for rain or shine. So how do you manage both jobs and balance those two?
At first it was difficult, no? But after a while you get used to it. What they call now multitasking. There are certain techniques, no? There are certain disciplines that you have to acquire in order to manage your time, in order to set your priorities. And I think that's the most important thing, is managing your time. I set my schedule from the time I wake up to the time I go to bed. Set my schedule from Monday until Sunday, and try to maximize the most that I can get out of my time. The other thing with multitasking is you have to admit that you cannot do everything. So you have to have good people around you. I have a good staff, my congressional staff and my vice gubernatorial staff when I was still with the provincial government. And I can delegate a lot of the tasks that I need to do, and they will do it competently. It's the same thing for my basketball. I have a very good staff, and we will usually meet regularly, plan out the things we need to do, and then just supervise them. And if they're well trained, if they're well motivated, they will make you look good. Yeah, so my staff does that for me. Both my political staff, involved in me being a congressman right now, and my basketball coaching staff. After years, you have more or less developed some sort of a working relationship where they will know what you're thinking, they will know what you want, and with the regular meetings and with a plan and with discipline, you can accomplish things.
Of course, you are also a family man. How do you manage your time with them and keep the bond going inside the family?
Well, you have to again sacrifice a lot of things. I don't anymore socialize. You know? Before I socialize, I would just rather spend that time with my family. I just make sure that I'm able to go home for dinner and have dinner with my family together. I set aside times during the year where we can have vacations together. Anytime they call me on the phone for anything, I'm always there. Another thing, again, as I said, is having a good staff. I have a good wife who takes care of my family really well and also allows me to have some freedom with my time. So we have a good staff in politics, we have a good staff in basketball. In my family, it's really my wife who really takes care of everything in the house and my kids. But again, you have to set aside some time for them also. That's why I try to go home as early as I can, and we set aside vacation time so that we can enjoy each other's company.
Okay. When you were running for Congress, one of your platforms is to turn CDC into an authority. Please tell us more about it and what are the benefits of turning CDC, Core Development Corporation, into an authority.
Yes, that was one of my advocacies and one of my campaign platforms. Actually, it was my main campaign platform because I feel that representing the first district of Pampanga and Clark within its jurisdiction, the key really is to maximize development of Clark for the development of the whole district. If Clark, not even the whole district, the whole of Central Luzon, the whole of the province in Central Luzon, it has such an impact that if we develop Clark in the future, this could be the next mega urban area, just like the Metro Manila. But we want it to be better than Metro Manila because this early, we want to be able to do the planning. We don't want it to be congested, to be polluted like Metro Manila. We want it to be environment friendly, to be energy efficient. So we're looking at that future. But first, we have to provide Clark with a mechanism that will make it easier for it to manage and administer. And that's the reason why we have to create and convert it into an authority. Just like Subic Bay Metropolitan Authority, just like Cagayan Economic Zone Authority, just like APECO in Aurora. So all of these areas have been created by law and have their own charters. By charter, I mean they have their own rules, regulations created by law. They exist by an act of Congress and not just an EO or an executive order, which is the situation that Clark is in right now. So anytime that President changes his mind, he can change the whole structure of Clark because it's just an EO. But if we have a charter, Clark is going to be more stable. It's going to be easier to manage because we are going to give full power and authority to whoever is managing it, the President and the Board.
Well, turning Clark into an authority, of course, it will follow certain projects like the expansion of the airport, fast train.
Yeah.
Are there any progress on that? Are there research or anything?
Yes. Actually, as a consequence of our proposal to convert Clark into an authority, we have now added not just a Clark Development Authority, but also an airport authority, which is the Clark International Airport Authority. So we are planning to convert SIAC, which is also a corporation just like Clark, into an authority. So this will mean that we will have two authorities within Clark. One is the Clark Development Authority, which is the entity taking care of the business side, the locators, the businessmen, the industries, the factories within Clark. And then we have the airport authority, which will take care of all the aviation requirements of setting up an airport and managing an airport within Clark. So we have two authorities, and we will create those two authorities by means of filing those bills and pushing for them to be made into laws. So while we're developing CDC as an authority, we are also developing SIAC as an airport authority. So
won't it create a division inside the Clark instead of just having one authority inside the Clark and just have two branches?
No, right now it's already divided. So we're just going to strengthen the jurisdictions of both. Up to where is the authority of the CDC or the Park Authority, Development Authority, or up to where is the jurisdiction and authority of the Airport Authority. So it will make it easier. Aviation concerns will be taken care of by the Airport Authority. Business concerns will be taken care of by the Development Authority, which was formerly CDC. So they will have their own competence. They will have their own areas and jurisdictions.
Of course, it will create more jobs for
That's
people.
That's the
main
objective. That's the final result that we want to achieve, is that with the development, there will be more opportunities for people to get jobs, good jobs. And again, that will require training personnel. Because having a job does not just mean that out of the street you pluck somebody and give him a job. You have to acquire skills. You have to provide him with the opportunity to learn things.
So you're also going to invest in training and development for the people?
Yes, manpower development and training people. That's why the schools around Clark are going to be crucial in our development plan. UP within Clark is going to be very crucial because these are the institutions that will provide skilled personnel and manpower for all the investors that we will invite to invest in Clark.
This past few weeks, we have an issue regarding the Priority Development Assistance Fund, or simply called the pork barrel. What can you say about it, and how did it affect you as a first-time congressman?
Well, number one, I think people need to understand. I always explain this by emphasizing 3 points. Number one, for myself, individually, as a first-time congressman, I just want people to realize that when we say pork barrel, we don't want to generalize and say that all congressmen are guilty. First of all,
Yes.
it's my first time to be a representative in Congress. And of course, you feel some hurt, or you feel affected when people generalize and say all congressmen are bad because of the pork barrel. There are people like myself who have never involved themselves in pork barrel, primarily because We really don't know what it is. We haven't touched it yet. We haven't gotten involved with the pork barrel yet. So, but people nowadays talk like all congressmen and all senators are part of it.
Corrupt.
So, yes. So, I just want to clarify that. Aside from us new congressmen, there are other congressmen in previous and present Congress who have made good use of their pork barrel. They made good use of their pork barrel. But I also do not deny the fact that there are congressmen and senators who have abused their pork barrel. So I can understand people getting angry. I can understand people getting fed up, with politicians who are corrupt and who misuse their pork barrel. So I agree, let's investigate, prosecute, and put those people in jail. If they are guilty, they deserve to be in jail. But the pork barrel has its own positive side. It sends a lot of scholars to school.
Medical assistance.
It gives a lot of people medical assistance. It gives barangays and those far-flung areas a chance, no, to have some sort of response from government through their congressmen for small projects, drainages, building of classrooms, building of farm-to-market roads. So there is a positive effect. It just so happened that the past 3 or 4 weeks, what has been emphasized are the negative effects. We have supported the position of the President that if the pork barrel needs to be abolished, we will agree with that. We will agree with that. But we have to keep in mind also that there is going to be an effect in the countryside. There's going to be an effect in terms of the scholars and the people who might need medical attention.
So the first part is for yourself, then the second will be...
Yeah, the first is just asking for understanding that not all legislators are guilty. Number 2, those guilty should be punished. Number 3, pork barrel in itself is not bad. It is in how you use it, just like anything else. If there are people involved, there will always be the possibility of corruption happening. Whether it's in business, whether it's in politics, whether it's in the academic field, whether it's in church, if there are people involved, there is always the risk of people being corrupt. But it does not mean that if people are corrupt, the system is bad. We can tweak it, we can just modify the system in order to serve its real purpose. But removing it totally, for now, I guess, because it's the clamor of the people, and the Congress and the Senate and the President have taken their position, I support that position as a congressman.
Okay, so before we end this interview, I have 3 random questions. First, what will be your last meal and why? Last meal in life.
Last
Meal.
meal?
Food.
Last meal in life. I'd like a simple salad and fish. And probably some nice, good coffee to go with that. So I enjoy light meals. I don't enjoy heavy meals. I don't want to feel bloated. Plus, since it's your last meal anyway, you don't have to worry about
Always feel bloated.
you don't have to worry about health considerations. Maybe you can have a good serving of salad and fish.
And if you were to be dead and you go to heaven, assuming you arrive at the pearly white gates, what do you think will tell you?
Well, I've always imagined that the first question is, what have you done for your countrymen, or what have you done for the people around you?
And of course, the answer in just one sentence.
But I can say that I've tried my best. I've been good to them. I've tried to serve them to the best of my ability.
And lastly, of course, the question of many Filipino people. Are you really bald or you maintain it?
When I started shaving my head, I was not really bald. That was about 15 years ago. But now, some portion of it is thinned out. So to me, it really doesn't matter because I'm going to shave it anyway. So when I started out, I had a lot of hair, but I chose to be bald. Now, even if I choose to grow my hair, a lot of it is not going to grow. So it's still okay that I remain bald.
So thank you, Congressman Yeng, for this wonderful interview and for giving us time even if you have a busy schedule. Thank you and see you once again somewhere. Thank you.
Yes, thank you also.